This is the pound dollar 60-minute time frame, and we have a high and tight flag which has set up, and you can see here I've managed to get in right at the bottom. And what I usually need for these patterns is to see a hold and then a positive candle. Well, we had the hold, but what I want to do is explain why I've got in before we've seen a positive candle, so a green candle. Just before I do that, we're currently risking 13 pips for about 63, something like that. So let's remove these orders. Let's remove everything off, and as usual do our higher time frame analysis starting from the dailies. So what we had really was we had this big lower low lower close candle, and since then we've been working our way down. We've had a bullish candle yesterday, but we did not make a higher high higher close, so everything right now is just saying that we're still going to go a little lower. We have come into almost a 618 fib retracement, and that is it really. There is not a great deal going on the daily time frame. Let's look at the 240. It does give a different picture. Here on the 240 we have been in trend, so we have a 3-point move, outside return, new structure low, outside return. Now quite importantly, this wick here, see how high it is? It has meant that these candlesticks here, even though they're higher than this outside return, it is not technically a outside a violation, because we are actually still in trend here to the downside. So I would only be looking for shorting opportunities here on the 60, but there is nothing here that meets my rules. So on the 240, let's go to the 60-minute, and we're going to remove these orders. And again here on the 60, this is now a violation. You can see that this is closed above this level, so there's nothing here for trend continuation on the 60, even though it does look as though we've double topped here. You can actually see, let me just draw this out, market came up. I'll do it to the closes of the candles. We saw a retracement, the market came up, and now we're moving off to the side, and you can see here that we've got divergence. But because this is violated here, this is not a double top for me. So if it's not a double top, but yet we're seeing this formation, then to me this is a high and tight flag. So we've had 3 touches on the top, 2 on the bottom. So why have I got in early on this trade? Well, and to do that I do need to drop down the time frames. Just before I do that, I'm going to put on a fib extension, which will be the 127, where I'll be looking at taking targets. If I put a structure level on there and look left, you'll be able to see that this comes in at quite a nice structure level just here, and so it's not a bad place at all to look at taking targets. So let's drop down to the, I think it was the 15-minute time frame. You can actually see that we have a double bottom. So if I just move this to here, which is where the closes of the candles are, and the wicks, so anywhere in these wicks or the closes of the candles we can look for a double bottom, and right here you can actually see that we have one. So we've got our first test there, our second test there, we've got a nice run down, and so this is perfectly valid. You can actually so there's the RSI confirmation, went oversold, we've got the divergence. We can actually drop down to the 5 minutes and see it here as well. Oh, come on, there we go. Okay, you can actually see it a little better here. So there's the test. You can see here we've come down and validated our double bottom. We have not broken below, and you can look for an extension here. And again, here on the 5 minute, it's still perfectly valid. anywhere within these wicks is perfectly valid, and as you can see, there's the double bottom. So that's why I've got in early in this trade, because we had a valid double bottom, and that's what you tend to get in these channels. You know, you don't have to play the channel, but very often you do tend to get double bottoms in there, and that allows you a safe entry with a very good risk to reward to get involved in these trades. So if I bring the orders back on, we've got a very nice entry there. It does mean that on this trade we are risking, let's bring this over a little bit, I think it was 16 pips, wasn't it? So let's just make that red just so we can see our risk to reward. That's red. Targets are 30.70, just below that 127 fib. Make that green. So 14 pips of risk, 61 of reward. One thing I did forget to mention is that we do have an even handled number here, 1,3000, so I'm just 5 pips underneath that in case the market decides to spike down. And there we go, that is the trade. We'll come back and hopefully see this thing rally up. Of course, it could actually go and retest the channel several more times before we get a breakout in one direction or the other. But there we go. We're back for a little update on this trade. It's only been maybe 15-20 minutes since I got in this trade, and we are actually seeing the market rally here. So not too sure what's causing it. It's only 20 to 8 in the morning, but I thought I'd jump on. As you can see, we go to the 5 minute here. That double bottom played out beautifully as an entry. There we go, played out beautifully at that structure level, and on the 5 minute we've obviously broken out here now, but it doesn't mean that we've actually broken out on the hourly, which is what I need. But there we go, currently 35 pips up. And we're back for the final part of this video, and I am very pleased to say that the trade has gone on to win. What a cracking trade. That was more than a 4-to-1 risk to reward. This morning when I got in it, I think I was in it for, I don't know, 20 minutes maybe just short of an hour before we saw this initial rally, and we've just hit targets. So lovely trade, plus 62 pips on the pound dollar. Nice way to finish off the week on the 5th of October, which is a Friday. As usual, if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do that, and of course, please, if you love the video, just give it a quick like.